Okay, the wedding. Come on. Who am I going to run into that I'm going to hate?
You're talking at the goddamn wedding?
Yes.
What is this, the fucking E channel? Come on.
This is what he does. He attacks people who interview him if it doesn't go his way. You dummy. Go ahead. By the way, your haircut's looking more and more like Phil Collins every day.
Then that's not really a cut, is it?
His one-man shows are just killer, whether it's New York Story, Unconstitutional, Long Story Short. His latest creation is Red State, Blue State, and that's going on Netflix. Is it not, Quinn? You seem to have a lot of juice now. Even though you're an older white male, Netflix, that's how good he is. They still use his stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So, first of all, before we get into that, let's get into your personal life. Mr. Colin Quinn is going to be married coming up very soon. I have to go back to New York, to Brooklyn for the wedding, marrying a nice Polish woman who I worked with. Polish woman. I make her sound like a cleaning lady. I worked with Jen at HBO, the Chris Rock show. A smart, funny, beautiful woman. And are you getting cold feet yet? Come on, let's be honest. You're probably shitting your pants.
Well, I've always had cold feet about these kinds of things. You know how it is. Let's face it.
That's true. I've been married 16 years and my feet are freezing right now.
Yeah.
But so what's the difference here? What made you pull the trigger?
First of all, your arms look pretty good. You've been lifting down there.
You couldn't be more wrong. I don't have a gym. I take my shirt. You know who I look like when I take my shirt off right now? Remember Harvey Keitel in The Bad Lieutenant when he had his shirt off? He's kind of cut up here, but he's got a gut. Yeah, smooth and... No, I fucking look. I was looking at myself today in the mirror, and I always hear your voice because you said that. You're like, we're at that age where people look and go, I bet that guy was in good shape a few years ago.
Yeah, yep.
That's exactly.
That's all you can hope for, sir.
Yeah. So, okay, the wedding. Come on. Who am I going to run into that I'm going to hate?
You're talking at the goddamn wedding?
Yes.
What is this, the fucking E channel? Come on.
This is what he does. He attacks people who interview him if it doesn't go his way. You dummy. Go ahead. By the way, your haircut's looking more and more like Phil Collins every day.
Then that's not really a cut, is it?
No, at this point, you're right. You can't control it. But I want to hear who's going to be at the wedding. Come on.
Jerry.
Jerry, that's Jerry Red Wilson.
Jerry.
Oh, wait a minute. I forgot he'd passed away. That's all right. But Jerry Seinfeld.
I thought you were saying it.
Jerry Seinfeld. No, I forgot actually. Jerry Seinfeld.
Everybody from Jerry Seinfeld to Tim Gage.
Oh.
And everybody in between.
Oh my! When you throw Tim Gage at the low end, that's a huge spectrum because this guy does comedy by night and drives a forklift by day. So.
Dylan Murphy.
Dylan Murphy is one of Colin's cousins. Every time I go up to Saratoga, he likes to gamble. I actually saw him throw an empty water bottle at a jockey's head after the jockey lost. And he comes into the green room when I'm at Saratoga playing Tommy's room, hands me a little piece of tinfoil. I'm thinking it's like cocaine. That's what they used to do. I open it up, it's empty, and he just laughs at me with his big glasses. And then he walked out of the fucking room. He didn't say anything. Love him. Dylan, Jerry Seinfeld. I know my buddy Seth Meyers is going to be there. I hope he doesn't watch his show. I'll probably get hit with a piece of cake or something. So, you're very talkative today, Colin. Thanks.
I'm not trying to wreck the way. You understand?
What?
It's the wedding. I can't be talking like this. I got a wedding to go to. What are you doing?
I didn't say anything bad. I'm the one who has beef.
I'm saying, what do you want me to say to that?
I want you to say, Nick, stay away from Seth Meyers. Grow some balls, will you? I heard he takes karate.
Really?
All right, let's get in. What else? He's still going to the Comedy Cellar, Fat Black. What are you doing?
I'm going to the Comedy Cellar mostly.
You've already started a new hour.
Well, I mean, you know how it is. You always have an old stuff that you don't use, and then you bring it back, and it's all better than anything you've done, and somehow that gets left behind. You know what I mean? You do comedy, and then you're like, I'll do the old stuff. And then not only does the old stuff do better with the crowd,
right,
but the comedians come up and go, that's a great bit. And you're like, oh, thanks. The one I wrote 11 years ago.
Right. They don't realize
it. New stuff I'm so proud of that nobody mentions because it's mediocre.
But it isn't. That's the thing about Colin. I watched him work out these plays, these one-man shows. He'd go on before me, the fat black pussycat. He's up there. You talk about a craftsman. He's got his index card. And even in its raw form, I remember watching you, this latest one, Red State, Blue State. You're working on it I'm watching you for at least 7 months, and then you go to me, I think I want to know where this is going to go. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I thought it would be, that's how much effort you put into it. I mean, after 7 months, you're just figuring out where you want to go with it.
Yeah, it's because, especially with the country, the way the country goes now.
Yeah.
Like when I did Unconstitutional, people would come up to me afterwards and go, oh, and even the end of the show, I was like, we can make this work as a country. And now I really know that you need to break up a country. You look at anything in this country, no one's getting together on abortion, guns, religion. You go down the list. No one's getting together. So it either ends up in a civil war where whoever wins that wins the hearts and minds of people, or you break up.
So your next special will be called Balkanization, is what you're saying.
Yes, that's basically what I think.
Or as Tony Soprano, Balkanization. Yeah, no. No, you're absolutely right. I use this metaphor, this analogy, Colin liked it, about how there's no middle ground anymore. And I said, it's like Bobby Orr's knee after his 11th surgery. There's no more cartilage. It's bone on bone. There's actually smoke coming out of his socks when he's
right.
And you're absolutely right. What do you see? Seriously, I bring up Civil War and people giggle. And but what would a Civil War look like? I mean,
first of all, I like to know these people all giggle when you bring up Civil War. They're like, oh, they're like, that's their idea of lighthearted ribbing. A Civil War, what would it look like? It would look like, the only people that would be in trouble would be red state, blue states, barricading down. They both have advantages. The only problem is Austin, Texas would be in trouble. Charleston, South Carolina would be in trouble. And Staten Island would be in trouble because those are places that are outside their element.
But are you saying there'll be actual skirmishes within, like you say, Austin, Texas, because it's very liberal, but it's in Texas.
Right.
So
as everyone tries to mass exit us out of there 3 days beforehand.
And they would be surrounded by Chuck Norris and his wife.
Yeah, and by half the army. Remember when we went overseas all the time? Yeah. Yes, these soldiers. Where are you from? Texas.
I know.
90% of our troops are from Texas.
I know. That's why I love that state.
Yeah.
They don't play. And Staten Island, how does that break? Staten Island.
It's always been like that. It's always been a red borough in a blue city, you know what I mean? From early days, because all the Italians from Brooklyn moved to Staten Island, you know what I mean?
Now, why did they leave Brooklyn? Can you explain that to my fans?
But they even left in the 80s and 90s. And, Bensonhurst, Brooklyn is mostly Chinese now. Most of Bensonhurst and Bath Beach, which was the last big Italian neighborhood in Brooklyn. It went for miles. When I was a kid, I was there all the time. And now they all moved to Staten Island. I told you, they used to call it Verrazano Bridge, the Guinea Gangplank. Because the Italians all went over.
I can't believe Bensonhurst, which was the home of the boys, the bad Italian, is Chinese. How does that? You're an expert on this stuff. How did how do Somalis end up in Minneapolis? Huh? How does that happen?
The Somali thing, I'm not sure. I guess it happened after. I guess they brought over certain states would have these religious organizations that would say we'll bring over this amount of Sudanese, and then the Somalis. I feel like the real interesting one is Ethiopia and Sudan, and then Somalis are sort of close to that. You know what I mean? They're all from that same area of Africa.
Right.
But I'm not sure how they ended up in Minneapolis, and I'm ashamed that I don't know that because I should know that.
Well, my guess, and I guess I'm way off, was the climate was very similar to where they came from. They go from 112 degrees to minus 16 in October in Minneapolis. But it only takes one to plant, like you said, to start a mosque or put an altar up. And the next thing you know, and the U.S. government, you see what's going on right now, people pouring, they're literally putting people on buses and sending them willy-nilly. If they have relatives, they might have a relative in Buffalo, Right.
But it's been like that for years. the immigration system in this country has always been, it's just people seeing it now, but it's always been insane. Like it's just kind of a random, unregulatable system. And it's just, it's been like this forever. You know me, I've been interested in immigration for years. And it's just but like Somalis, no. That's asylum. Asylum is if your government is going to kill you for being, I forget why these Somalis came over, but same with the Sudan or the Sudanese and Ethiopians, like the lost boys of the Sudan. So certain religious groups bring them over, you know, and in Minnesota, I think it was the Bud Grant Foundation.
I heard they came over here because of the soccer riots in the Sudan. No, you're exactly right. It's so weird. One of your favorite movies and one of my favorite, Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh.
I reminded her because I know how they forced in the ethnic thing at the end, and you got the Mexicans and their lowriders and stuff, and that was set like in Idaho or Iowa, right?
Yeah, Idaho, yeah.
But then I said, wait a minute, that makes sense. They probably didn't know when they were making them, but it makes sense now because you even told me all the meat packing plants are filled with hardworking.
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing that nobody wants to enforce immigration, the left and the right. Nobody wants to. Maybe the average citizen does, but all the guys who are in the meat plants, all the Democrats want to do it for votes, and the Republicans want to do it
for money, commerce,
cheaper labor.
That's
so
right.
all the meatpacking plants in Iowa, all those places, they do radio advertisements in Mexico for 20 years. So for 20 years in Mexico, they're like, come up and get a job up north. I mean, that's just the way it's been. But nobody really wants to try everything because then everybody has to look at themselves and go, oh, this is all part of something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That nobody wants to see. So everybody blaming everything else, it's all true. All the things that people point their fingers at are always true.
Corporations and the left, the left want the future black and brown vote, and that's all true. But what's going on now, even in the last few weeks, is crazy. I mean, how can you not call that a crisis? I mean, it's up 400% from a year ago, people showing up. And until they change that magnet, that asylum magnet, they know the system. These people are met at the border by immigration lawyers that tell them what to say, right? I have a kid, so as long as they step foot on, you get a kid in their arm. So the Dems are in charge right now as far as Congress and stuff. But you're saying the Republicans also don't mind what's going on.
Yeah, they don't want to. Nobody. I mean, this has been an open secret for 25 years.
I know, but here's the difference now, though. Artificial intelligence, automation, all the jobs being automated. Everybody's going to be pushed out. So, and they're still coming. I mean, how's that good? We're fucked, aren't we? Let's be honest. This country is fucked in a few years.
Yeah, well, everything's connected with globalization. Not this country, the whole world. I mean, look at it. Everything's just insane. Everything's kind of morphing into something else. And like you said, it's all robotic. So I don't know what's going to happen to human beings. We're going to have to rob the robots on payday or something. It's just going to all be criminals when the robots get paid.
Well, the Democrats say those people floating over the Rio Grande on tubes, we can teach them code when they get here, I'm sure, Apple is going to be blind. It's going to look like a George Lopez concert, I'm sure.
But that's the other point. The other point is how many people are coming over from other countries getting legal thing, but because they have these skills that you're telling me Americans couldn't learn that skills, okay, we're not the brightest people.
Right.
We're never going to be Asia or India. But I'm saying those are a lot of jobs too, but it's legal, but it's still, all the Silicon Valley stuff and, special, whatever they call H-1B visa,
Right.
But look, I mean, this is just the way it is. And you're not going to stop people from coming from Central America because they're living in a nightmare. I mean, they're living in
some of them.
You know what I mean? They're living under drug lord, narco democracy. I mean, it's bad down there. It's like anarchy. So of course they want to come.
Well, there's some legit ones, definitely. But are you saying Trump, is this a wet dream, this merit-based system? Is that racist, like the left says?
What's a merit-based system? Yeah.
Well, people coming in, he says we're going to do what Canada does in Australia, where you give them it's based on education and what you can do for this country. And he's catching all kinds of blowback that's racist and,
But but also most of the jobs, like I said, all those all those factories in the United States and all the canning places, they don't want that either. So I'm saying nobody will really have this country doesn't have a discussions. Like, we should be having these giant discussions about this kind of stuff, but there's never a discussion. All it is conflicts and so, whatever it is. There's never like a convention where people sit down and go, okay, here's what's actually happening. Because I don't know why, but it just doesn't happen. And so these will never get resolved because everything's kind of done where it's like, oh, forget about that part now and forget about that part,
But they have to change, like I said, because of automated jobs. You're saying canning and stuff. That's already changing. So why do they still want these people pouring in?
Oh, because slaughterhouses. Stuff like that. You can't get it.
That's going to be all. That's going to be all automated. That's going to be automated.
You still need a guy that can handle a butcher knife and just slice somebody's head off without flinching. You know what I mean?
Who better from El Salvador?
Take a chicken. Yeah. I'm just saying, the money they want to pay too. There's all kinds of, there's all kind. It's money. All this stuff. There's money involved in everything.
I don't want to go to my butcher and he's got a teardrop tattoo and
But I'm saying most of the people coming up, not to be liberal about it, most of the people coming up are escaping from people with teardrop tattoos. That's why they're trying to flee, because it's mostly, that's why Trump was wrong when he goes, they're murderers, they're rapists. It's like, no, they're trying to run from murders and rapists. So I'm not saying that we can afford to let people in. I'm just saying that that's who's coming up. It's not all the gangs. They're coming too.
Half of El Salvador MS-13 is living in Long Island, so they weren't running from anybody but themselves.
But I'm saying, in the grand scheme of things,
right? But there are rapists and murderers.
But this the kind of off the subject thing that just clouds things.
Right.
You know what I mean? And both sides do it, obviously, but it's just cloudy. I want to get to the facts. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get nervous. I like watching the news, and I'm like, oh, Trump is part of this because nothing's getting done, and they're pouring in, and he's out at rallies talking about other shit. So I'm like, it is really it's a big. And Colt is pissed.
Well, I know. Well, it's kind of an interesting thing. Like when I feel like when anything gets examined. So this right now it's immigration.
Yeah.
When anything gets examined, really examined in the country, any issue, you're like, oh, nobody knows what they're doing, and nobody's doing any. People are just like, whoa, wait a minute, I don't want to stick my neck out so that goes for everything. And right now it's immigration, but when you really look at things, nobody has any solutions, and that's why I say everyone should break up.
Well, it's the ruling class. Tucker Carlson's book, Ship of Fools, explains it beautifully. It really is a ship of fools leading us, some of the dumbest people on the friggin' planet. But, and nobody's steering the ship. It's kind of scary. There's not much leadership there.
It's scary. That's why you need to break up. Because if you break up this country, then people start to see the flaws in their part of the system or the good parts about their system. So, you know what I mean? Let everybody do it. The whole point of the United States is freedom, right? Everybody's supposed to live the way they want to live. You can't do that. People are ideologically opposed. So from day one in this country, so what are we doing? What are we going to do? We're just going to keep going like this until there's a war. That's what I say. That's how it's going to go.
Will I be around for it? I just bought a beautiful gun.
Yes.
We're going to be brother. We're going to be brother against brother. You're going to be in New York blue, and I'm going to be down here in Georgia.
Yeah. Well, maybe there'll be some in between states,
Let's shift gears real quick before I let you go. Big tech. I got this special breath of fresh air, and Facebook won't let me advertise the special on Facebook. So I have a bigger beef with this because this is right out in the open. People are worrying about Russia interfering in the next election. How about Google and fucking Facebook shutting down guys like me and to you to some extent? How do we? Are they ever going to get broken up, or are they too rich and powerful? What do we do about these?
I don't know. Like we were talking about the other day. Who's gonna be the new tech guy? There's no
right-wing tech guy.
Yeah.
I want a right-wing, Zuckerberg. But where is that guy?
Right. He's
I'll tell you where he's in the Oval Office right now.
tweeting.
But this is serious.
But it is crazy that they're censoring you. That's ridiculous. You know what I mean?
It is and it isn't.
Shadow censoring.
not just shadow. There's been actual politicians called Republican politicians in races whose advertisers don't get shown in some markets, and they don't even know. Like they put an ad out on Twitter. So I don't want to hear about the fucking Russians. I want to hear about the left-wing Silicon Valley scumbags who are going to interfere in the next election. Look what they tried to do to Trump in this last election. Are you shitting me? I don't know how, even with the economy being great, he's got the mainstream media against him. He's got the tech against, social media against him. It's unbelievable.
But he doesn't help matters.
Oh, I know. You don't like the way he tweets and he's fucking loud and obnoxious. We got to get over that.
No. There's ways to make your point. You know what I mean?
Yes, there's ways to make, and you know what? This is where you make me mad. We finally got a guy, everybody agreed, left and right, that this country's been broken politically for 40 years.
Right.
We finally get a guy comes in and flips over the fucking Apple card, and he steps on people's toes. And I know he says shit on Twitter. I know right where you're going about having a black or a Mexican female as the vice president. We could have wrapped up the Mexican vote. That you're dead right on with. But you don't like the fact that he's exposed the fucking media for the scum that they are.
No, I mean, I like little parts of it, but I don't like the fact that he's an indefensible human being. You know what I'm saying? That's what I like.
He's flawed. That's the point. He's a human being.
I know, but what kind of you can't do everything you want to do without being a dick. You know what I mean?
Colin's been giving me that same advice about my career. I'm not shitting you, just another language.
But he's, other level,
All right. Well, yeah. I just, as far as I go,
I know.
He exposed the media, and if it all ended tomorrow, he's done more. George W. Bush used to turn the cheek, and that's what got us Obama. And I find him Yes, he's. When you're a white guy, an outspoken white guy defending a white guy, but you're an asshole. That's all. That's.
No, I understand, but he actually.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the clip from my show. You can see the entire show for free on YouTube on Mondays and at nickdip.com. So please do that. Talk to you soon.